brought me over.
Bam for an hour, do it till it's hot. Wig gon' be melted, lace gon' be laid.
I got married in Italy. Am I saying you copied me by getting married in Italy? Who performed at my wedding? Andrea Bocelli. Who performed at Courtney's wedding? Andrea Bocelli. You stole my wedding country and my wedding performer.
Librarians like Michael oftentimes aren't in communities that need a librarian like Michael the most. Now, something I ain't heard in this discourse is that there is a significant portion of the population that has experienced trauma at the hands of people in Michael's position. For example, those of you all who are a product of public school education like myself know we did something called popcorn reading. And when the young black boy would be chosen, inevitably, who had a difficult time reading, most people would laugh. Or if you remember yourself as an amazing person, maybe you were just complicit in the laughter that still told that young black boy that they did not belong in that space and that they had nobody there that would fight for them and with them to belong in that space. So when it comes to Michael, who we all know unquestionably is doing generational curse-breaking level work in that library and deserves to be commended for it, to a lot of people, Michael also represents a certain level of tenderness and acceptance that they were not only not given, but were actively given the opposite. So while we are defending Michael as we should, I think it's important that we also make the Michaels of the world less rare to the people that need a Michael.
She was a fairy.
Buckle up.
That was at $2.03.
I'm not sure what happened. I was expecting to pay less than $1, and the total is just above $2. I am about to have a nervous breakdown. This is not good. All right. As crazy as this sounds, it really was like life and death. I knew what I needed to spend, and every extra dollar that I have to spend is one less dollar that I can use towards my family. I'm going to recount all the items and make sure that all my coupons are matching up properly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going through the bags, and I discovered that there was an extra soup in one of the bags. 20, 21, 22. There was one too many soups on the last transaction. That means that I paid an extra $1.67 over budget.
That mistake has cost Cole nearly $2, and he's not happy.
There was one too many soups on the last transaction. Is there anything we can do to fix that?
We can refund that for you.
That would be great.
He didn't know I had a filter on.
So you hear my gun talk, clap, clap. Walk, 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 walk. Walk, 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 walk. Can't try. Keep gun up in his pants, niggas won't kill top.
Black people, I just want to remind y'all, mind your business. This ain't our fight. Mind your business. Stay your ass in the house. Let them. This ain't our. I ain't getting involved. I ain't getting involved. This shit is ghetto. These people are ghetto. These beasts, these savages, these thugs. Black people, this is not your fight. Let them figure out this nonsense. This has nothing to do with us. You see how we all sitting here confused about it? We confused because it ain't none of our business. 2021, mind your damn business. Enjoy the episode.
You know that essay is due Friday. Have you picked your topic yet?
Now, girl, you already know what my topic is.
Slavery. Okay? Listen, because how they going to tell us?
And I said the same thing.
You know, I was going to mix it up this time and do a little Jim Crow.
Oh, girl, that's smart.
Don't do that. What? Don't do that. What? I know what you're doing. Don't do that. I'm not doing anything. I know what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything.
Listen to me.
If I take your head, make it sloppy. I don't need no bitch, do you copy? Last bitch try to bring her friend when she top me. Diamonds on me, go punch and they rocky. Ass on a stranger. Don't sit it down and shake some. Don't tell the DJ play something. Make her come. I promise I won't say nothing. Don't wagging like a Volvo. Shit, fi. She get it from a go-go. That's my bring.
this motherfucker is amazing. No, sir.
Back outside, girls, bitch, back outside. I love outside, nigga, come on, nigga. I'ma act better.
I got deported by 6. I got sued by 6. I got burned by 6. I got bombed by 6. I got mugged by 6. I got shot by 6. I got scammed by 6. I got robbed by 6.
And with that, the 2023 season comes to an end. Good night.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a banger with this. Huh? What? DJ on the beat. Run!
POV, you are a black woman in Mykonos.
¿Quieres pasar de esto a esto? Primero le daremos a las 3 rayitas, aquí ajustes y privacidad, entonces le daremos a modo oscuro y aquí tenemos la opción de ponerlo en claro, en oscuro o utilizar los ajustes del dispositivo.
Y'all remember when TikTok first came out and everybody was like, oh no, I'm not getting on that, like what is that, like nobody's getting on that. Now look at me, I'm on here every 10 minutes. That's sickening.
I'm out here on the come up. I beat the pussy drummer. I roll up no more drama.
You have a beautiful soul. Oh gosh, look at the time. I've got to get home and sleep with your brother.
Foi que eu deixei o meu TikTok com essa cor preta, porque o TikTok de fábrica já vem com todo o layout em branco. E é muito fácil, galera, eu vou ensinar. Vem aqui nos 3 pontinhos das configurações, aí você desce esse monte de opção que vai te aparecer e vai clicar aqui em Dark Mode. Quando você entrar, você pode mudar pra branco, ou se quiser, você pode mudar pra preto. Preto é muito mais bonito, né, galera? Eu sugiro que todo mundo deixe preto, é isso aí, tamo junto, valeu!
When I found out that people used to eat black people as a delicacy.
Y'all already know when I want to talk about something important, I just hop out the bed and start recording, so excuse the bonnet. But if you want to learn a little bit more about the real U.S. history, then please stay. As an ethnic studies major and somebody who learns about African American studies daily, here is some more information I don't think you should have to pay thousands of dollars in college tuition to know. Do you know about the Tulsa Race Massacre? I was literally in college when I first heard those words, and yet it is such a major massacre that nobody talks about in U.S. history. If you don't know, within one day, a white mob stormed the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was one of the most affluent black communities, burning this city to the ground. They literally had airplanes dropping bombs from the sky. This community was devastated, and yet its history is not really known. Why is this? Well, it has to be for the same reason that white families, I'm not even saying historically because this is not long ago, used to literally attend what they called picnics or carnivals to literally watch the festivities being a black person being lynched. Proof of this is available on Google because they would take pictures as families in front of this lynched man for postcards that were supposed to be seen later. If Christopher Columbus was the man he was and George Washington walked around with slaves' teeth in his mouth, I don't see how any of this is hard to believe. The one problem that I have when learning ethnic studies or any sort of history is the fact that it's always taught from a standpoint where white cultures did the things they did because they were fearful. Fearful of what exactly? The black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the Muslim community, the Native Indian community have all dealt with fear revolving around one thing, and that is white privilege and or white fear. Minority groups as a whole have had to historically fear white privilege because it is a dominant form of discrimination that does not make it easier to be a white person, but inherently makes it harder to be a person from a minority group. We have no privilege that makes it easier to live through poverty. We have no privilege that allows us to bend the laws and get off on certain cases. Historically, we have not been able to commit mass genocide or enslave people. And yet it's all put on us as being barbaric or feared. The fear is not of us. And it has taken me all the way up to college and reading through books and watching TikTok videos to see that. The fear is in losing a privilege that allows them to avoid hardships that we have faced historically. Please read about Yellow Peril, the Muslim ban, how society is taught to hate certain groups and fear certain groups of people, and then you will see they're afraid of losing power.
University. Y'all need to listen up because I got some information. I got the blueprint to go viral on TikTok. Like, I done figured this out and I'm about to give y'all the tea, okay? It is 2 simple steps that you have to do to go viral or get your video to do numbers and get your followers up, okay? 2. So follow me. Make sure we here. So step 1. You need to create a video that has good content. So you need to, I don't know, do a get ready with me, a fashion look, unpopular opinion, ruffle some feathers real quick. That always gets the views. You can do something, promote your business. Just have a great video with great content. Man, don't do no corny video that ain't gonna get no views. Like, do something that's actually like when you post that video, you like, oh yeah, this the one. This gonna go viral. Like, you gotta have that attitude. Like, oh yeah, I know this the video. This the video, okay? So that's step 1. Great video. That's obvious, okay? Step 2. Now pay attention. Don't lose me. Step 2, because this is the one where a lot of people don't do this, and this is the important step. Like, you have to do this. Step 2. Go to sleep. Put your phone on don't disturb and go to sleep. Take a nap. Get some rest. You ever be scrolling on TikTok and like you come across videos and they be like, oh, I just woke up. I didn't know this video was going to blow. No, they knew what they were doing. Everybody knows you have to go to sleep. You can't sit there and wait for us to come and like and comment and follow you. Like, you can't sit there and wait, because then we feel like you want our back and we feel like it's forced. Like, you gotta leave it alone. Just leave it up to us and let us do what we're supposed to do. You gotta let the tickers do the talking, okay? So that's step 2, and it's really simple. Just go to sleep. Now, when I say go to sleep, I mean you gotta be knocked out, like dead to the world, like sleeping good. Don't hear nothing. Put your phone on don't disturb. Like, you don't hear nothing. You forgot that you can post the TikTok. You have to be like that. You can't take no little cat nap, because it ain't gonna work, because we see you. Like, we see you watching us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to be knocked out, dead to the world, sleep. When you wake up, come back on TikTok, your video will be doing numbers, okay? It's really that simple. Now, if it doesn't work, you have 2 things that you need to do. You need to work on your content. It needs to be a little better. And you need to get some better sleep. You need to get some good sleep. You're not sleeping good, okay? You need some good sleep. So that's it right there. That's the steps to going viral. It don't get no simpler than that. Let me know how that worked for y'all. You're welcome.
Here's some makeup tips that will take your makeup to the next level. Starting with primer. If you have big pores like me, I would highly recommend a pore filling primer. Not only will this fill in and blur your pores, it'll also give you that smooth finish. And if you want a more affordable option, I would recommend the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Now you need a primer that's going to make your makeup last longer. You can either use the e.l.f. or the Milk Primer, but I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Primer today. This is going to give your makeup a nice base to stick to and make it last a lot longer. Now you're gonna set your primers, and if you have oily skin, I would highly recommend doing this. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder in the color Deep, and what I like to do is pick up some of that powder using my beauty blender and tap some of it in the back of my hand so I can use as little as possible. You do not want to pack this on, and I just like to set it around my nose, around my smile lines, because my smile lines tend to crease a lot, and on my forehead and my eyebrows, and this really helps to also set my eyebrows. So this step is optional, but I do like a bit of a glow, so I'm going in with my e.l.f. Halo Glow in the color Deep, I believe, and I'm just gonna put that on all the areas where I would usually put my foundation. And when I blend, I start blending from the center of my face and then I spread it out. And I also like to avoid my under eyes because I am gonna be adding concealer under there, and you just don't want to pack on too much product on your under eyes, because if you're putting foundation and you're putting Halo Glow and then you're going in and putting concealer, you're definitely gonna crease and you're definitely gonna have like those lines because there's just way too much product there. So try to avoid that area whenever you are putting on your foundation. And speaking of foundation, I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Foundation in the color 450, and I'm just putting that in those same areas where I just put the Halo Glow, plus my nose and my forehead and my neck. Of course, can't forget the neck. As I always say, as a dark skin girl, I have discoloration. My neck is much darker than the rest of my body for some reason. I think it's because I was a fat baby. So I have to put foundation on my neck to even out the color. So this is how we're looking. Now we're going to go in with concealer. I'm using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This concealer is so goated. And for application for your concealer, try not to place it directly under your under eyes. Give it a little space. And also another thing I like to do is kind of create a reverse contour. So I place that concealer right next to my nose because it's going to act as a reverse contour for me. I also went ahead and did the little side things. I like to call them the extendo. And I also applied the concealer on my nose. Now I'm blending. And when you're blending your concealer, start blending from the bottom and then blend inward. And the reason for that, again, is because you never want to pack on too much product directly under your eyes in those areas that crease. Always try to put as little product in that area as possible, especially if you get really bad creasing on your under eyes. And back to what I was saying about creating a bit of reverse contour. As you can see, I blended that concealer right like on my nose where I would put a contour, like right underneath where a contour would go, so that I don't actually have to contour my nose. And now I'm blending out those side pieces, and when I blend out the side pieces, I like to make a sharp line. This is gonna give me a facelift, and I will diffuse it a little bit later, and it's not gonna go like all the way up like that. But anyway, I'm just making sure that my under eyes are really blended. Take your time with this step. Make sure that everything is blended and smoothly spread out. I'm going in and blending my nose now, and I was saying earlier that I did make that nose bit a little too thick. Usually it would be a lot thinner, but again, just make sure everything is nicely blended out, nice and smooth. Take your time if you need to. And now I'm going to contour. I'm using my Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the color Espresso, and I put that contour directly on my cheekbones. I also did put it on my forehead, and when I blend it out, I just mostly focus on diffusing that little like line that I made with the concealer. I diffuse it a little bit on the outer corner, keep the inner corner sharp, and then I also take it down and just give my cheekbones a little more structure. And I'm literally blending this contour, or should I say bronzer, directly on my cheekbones. And that's gonna look different for everyone because everyone has different facial structure. So just try to figure out a way to blend the contour or the bronzer in a way that fits your specific facial structure. And then I go in and blend out the forehead piece as well. And I'm always forgetting to do this, but I also like to take the bronzer and put it directly on my jawline to make it a little more structured and a little more defined. And I promise this makes a difference, which is why I hate when I forget to do it. And then I'm just going back in and blending out my concealer again because we are now going to be setting. And before I set, I just want to make sure that everything is locked into place. And we're going to be setting in part 2, so make sure you check that out. It's already up right now. You definitely don't want to miss all the tips that I still have left to show you guys. I promise you need these tips. And your makeup is only half done. Like, be for real.